Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the ZapSec Modernization Series. My name is James Camerata, Vice President at ZapSec, and I'm joined by Ray Garg, who is our Identity and Access Management Architect. So, Ray, when CIOs look at why a cloud migration slipped, the answer is often not infrastructure complexity or application refactoring. It's identity, including legacy directory dependencies, embedded credentials, and orphaned service accounts. These surface late and push entire migration waves back by 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, it's something that teams just didn't plan for. And migration programs assume that identity is going to follow the workload. But in practice, identity is what really holds the workload in place. It's kind of like moving a factory to a new site, wh- um, while the old wiring and the hidden pipes and the undocumented control systems are still connected to the machines. You can't move the equipment until you resolve what it's attached to.
Yeah, that's an excellent metaphor. What are the most common blockers you see?
Well, the most common things we see usually are four categories. So we see legacy LDAP binds where applications are authenticating directly against an on-premises directory. We're seeing hard-coded service accounts embedded in scripts and automation, orphaned accounts that nobody owns but still carry active production permissions, and nested group structures where entitlements are layered so deeply that nobody can determine what access a given identity actually has.
And they block differently.
Yeah, LDAP binds and hard-coded credentials block the cutover itself. You can't decommission the legacy directory if applications still depend on it. Orphaned accounts and ungoverned entitlements do not block cutover, but they create security exposure after migration. You carry the risk into the cloud. Both need remediation, but the sequencing is different.
So debt has to be mapped by category with a delay quantified per category.
So each category carries a measurable delay. An LDAP bind might block a wave by 8 weeks. A hard-coded service account might take 4 weeks to refactor. If you map that across every application in a migration wave, you get a realistic picture of how much identity debt is adding to the program.
And remediation improves security posture at the same time.
Yeah, resolving orphaned accounts eliminates standing privilege that should not exist. Replacing hard-coded credentials with managed identities removes credential exposure, and flattening nested groups makes entitlements auditable. The migration program reduces risk and improves auditability as a side effect of unblocking itself.
So the key here is, how does ZapSec differentiate? Most migration programs discover identity debt reactively. The question is how to address it proactively and structurally.
Yeah, that's a great point. So, three things here. First, identity debt mapping. We classify every dependency by category, we quantify the delay it introduces per migration wave, and we prioritize by what blocks cutover versus what creates post-migration risk. The migration leader is able to get a clear picture of where the identity is holding the program back. Second, we bring structured delivery. Migration blueprints are able to provide sequenced remediation plans aligned to migration waves. Things like which LDAP binds to resolve before wave one, which service accounts to refactor before wave two, and it's implementation ready, not just a discovery document. The third thing is automation, continuous dependency monitoring that tracks remediation progress and surfaces new debt as it appears. If a hard-coded credential is introduced during migration, then the automation will catch that before it becomes the next blocker.
So my takeaway is that the differentiators are to be dependency mapped, implementation ready, and continuously tracked.
That is how organizations move from reactive identity firefighting to a governed remediation program that keeps migration on schedule.
Yes, that's an important point. Cloud migration is not just an infrastructure program. Identity debt must be reduced deliberately if you want velocity without carrying legacy risk into the cloud. If your timeline keeps slipping and nobody can explain why, you should look at identity.
Exactly. The key takeaways here are map the debt, sequence the remediation, and protect the timeline.
That's great advice, Ray. Thank you. Insightful as ever. So thanks to everyone for watching, and don't forget, ZapSec helps companies maximize their ROI and minimize threats. We do cybersecurity every day. If any of this is familiar to you, we'd welcome a conversation on how to bring this sort of transformation to your organization. You can visit zapsec.com or reach out to Ray or myself directly. Our email addresses are visible at the beginning of the video.